Business Council and the Australian Industry Group have supported Labor's 43% emissions reduction target. Do you think they've got it wrong?
No, I don't agree with them. I mean, Labor said at the last election, and since the last election, that they thought 45% was the wrong decision, but apparently 43% is the right decision. I think, and that's just the opening bid from Labor. I mean, for Labor to legislate, if they were to form government, they would have to do that with the support of the Greens. So 43% is just the opening bid from Labor. And you know what the Greens' target is? It's 75%. So vote Labor, you vote Greens, and you vote for the Greens' targets.
Prime Minister, the gentleman on your right called in a speech in September for a 40 to 45% cut emissions by 2035. Do you disagree with Dave Sharma on that?
That's not the government's policy. I respect Dave's commitment to this area. But what we're doing is we've got the right balance in our policies. And our policies are about meeting and beating our targets. And meeting and beating those targets is Australia's record. We have cut emissions by more than 20%. And one of the ways we're doing that is exactly by what we're talking about today. When you're not putting stuff into landfill, you're actually reducing emissions. That's why we've made reuse. That's why we've made recycling one of the important parts of our manufacturing initiative. Our modern manufacturing initiative identifies recycling as one of our key manufacturing industries going ahead. I mean, you've got companies like Visy, who are world leaders in recycling. Out there in Western Sydney, I was out there where we've put one of our supports in to ensure that they've been able to retool and redo their lines out there for glass glass recycling. That same glass is going into the Tui's bottles, which has been also made here in New South Wales. And, of course, you've got the paper recycling, cardboard recycling, which is causing a recycling revolution in other parts of the world, an Australian company doing that. So Australia gets the runs on the board, whether it comes to reducing emissions or recycling. We're doing the practical things that make a difference. Others talk about it, we do it. And we're also doing it by getting electricity prices down. I mean, under Labor, electricity prices doubled. Since I was elected at the last election, electricity prices, they've come down by 3.2% every year on average. Every year for 3 years. So under our policies, we're reducing emissions and we're reducing electricity prices. Under Labor, we know what happened. Taxes went up, prices went up, and they didn't achieve what they were hoping to on emissions.
Prime Minister,
you previously lost the seat to an independent with a stronger stance on climate. What makes you think that your 30 to 35% target will be enough to hold this and other key states for you?
Well, you're right. Back in 2018, that's what occurred. And then in 2019, with the exact policies we took to that election, which I've honoured in this term, we were able to get Dave Sharma elected. And that's also because Dave does such a great job here on the ground. You know, at this election, next year, it is a choice. It's a choice between the Liberals and the Nationals and Labor and the Greens. And at the end of the day, someone's going to be chairing Cabinet, and that's going to be me or Anthony Albanese. Someone's going to be chairing the National Security Committee of Cabinet and making decisions about keeping Australians safe in our region against some of the greatest threats we've seen since before the Second World War. And someone, either me or Anthony Albanese, is going to be chairing the Expenditure Review Committee. Now, I've got plenty of experience chairing those and through some of the most difficult decisions this country's ever made. And these are the choices. Elections are about choices between two alternatives. And that's the choice that Australians have to make. And here locally, who you choose locally, whether it's a member of the government in the form of Dave Sharma or anyone else, the only way you can ensure that we can secure our economic recovery and keep Australians safe in these uncertain times is supporting the Liberals and Nationals candidates. And here in Wentworth, that's as true as anywhere else in the country.